Okay, a couple minutes late. I had to restart my computer. I'm Ann Rossley. I'm here with my dear friend and colleague, Kyle Harvey. Let me fix my screen. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago, and every Monday we come to you with real estate. Hi, Kyle.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm just fine on this beautiful Monday morning in Chicago. Gosh,
I don't know. It's glorious, isn't it?
it's a little
Ah,
50s, but gosh, we're going to get up to the mid 70s. Yay.
I know. It's great. It's great. So, we were on last week on Labor Day. And today we have the real stats, what's going on. And then we're also going to talk about something you're bringing to us to share. And then if we have a little time, we're going to delve into what's really going on with the detached single family homes. So,
Neat.
yeah. All right, everyone, let me just say this before I jump into stats. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels and social media. And of course, get in touch when you want some help. All right. Should we start into stats?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, okay, as always, we talk about the single family and attached markets um, up and down the lakefront. We call them the lakefront communities from the South Loop to Edgewater and those directly west. And first, we're going to talk about single family homes. But this is a repeat from last week. If you saw it, I'll go through it really quickly. Of the 50 metro areas, when you look at prices, there are some areas that are increasing in price year over year, some are declining in price year over year, and we happen to be the sixth most increasing of areas. Single family homes in our area are increasing, and you'll see a little bit more. A lot of this is due to the fact that there is a disparity between buyers and sellers in various areas of the country. We actually have more buyers than sellers, and you can see that in the second from the left. If you look to the right and you see the West and the South, they have a ton more sellers than they have buyers. And the blue is year over year, the red and or the green is versus pre-pandemic, and this refers to inventory. So you can see that in the Midwest, compared to pre-pandemic, we're down 40% in the number of properties that are on the market. But you know, Kyle, I was thinking about this since we saw each other last week. It says we're up 18% year over year, but Chicago's not the case, is it?
It sure doesn't feel like it. I wonder where that 18%, because this is the Midwest
Right.
region. It's not Chicago.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll look at that a little bit more. So let's look at houses. In the month of August, 89 homes closed. 68 went under contract. That was a blip up from the month before, but look at the number of homes for sale. We're not up 18%. We are at a record low, even lower than December.
Yeah, which is
And keep
which
in mind,
is not
folks,
really well for the fall.
I know. Well, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit later if we have time. I always think of September 1 or 2 after Labor Day of putting homes on the market for the fall market. And
Agreed.
so we'll see what happens. But whoa.
Woe is right.
Okay, now we're up to 1,490, all-time high, up 44% versus 5 years ago. That's a 1.7 month supply.
Ugh.
6 months, 5.5 to 6 months is neither a buyer nor a seller market. It's that much of a seller market.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Cry, cry, cry. Broke it down by areas and thought this was interesting.
Look at all of them.
Yeah, Westtown 1.4, Lakeview Uptown 1.2, and Lincoln Park has less than a month, 0.9 months of inventory.
Oh.
Year to date, despite the fact that we're record low numbers of available properties, we're still up in sales. So 1,003 have sold year to date so far. All right, let's look at attached. This is Condos, Co-ops, Townhomes. 900 closed in August, lowest number in
And
a long time.
I apologize. Can we go back for just a quick sec to the previous slide? No, the one of closed. Yeah, go back. What would this number, and you've been in the business for so much longer, have been in 2019, 2018, 2017? Because inventory so low? Would these numbers have been much higher, or would we have seen, at this little more than halfway rate?
Lately, I haven't tracked it, but truly, a year ago, our numbers were tracking at 219 levels, but we're below a year. Yeah, they're
So
probably about 2018 levels. Yeah.
we started this right at the start of the pandemic. So this show and the data that we've collected and internalized is all pandemic and post-pandemic data. But it really feels like our market was slower in terms of not a lot of sales. We had more inventory, but not, actually my entire career, 8 years, people, has been low inventory. We've been complaining about inventory for a while
Yeah.
in the city. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay. Close your eyes, everybody. I'm going to go fast. Here, look at this. Oh, no, that's 2020. Yeah. Sometimes I'll put on a chart that
Yeah.
shows like from the beginning.
I'd just be
Let's do
sort of
that.
interested.
Let's do that. Yeah. Keep in mind, though, pre-pandemic, we were at 5 months worth of inventory.
Yeah.
So there was lots more to choose from back then.
But then I don't know that thing, and the rate of sale, I don't know. It'd be just interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll bring that next week.
All right.
All right. So we said 900, 757 went under contract. Doesn't seem too out of control. And look at this, 1745. The only month that was lower was December of 2024. Every other month was higher than where we are right now in inventory. And it's a 2.1 month. Who would have thought 2.2 months worth of inventory for attached, right?
Oh, no, crazy.
Okay, and so this is showing month supply by neighborhood. Loop and Near North are in the 3s. Lincoln Park is 0.8, West Town's 1.2. So supply, demand are very neighborhood focused.
Yeah.
You'll see some where they're flying, some where they're not. 465 is the median sales price.
Okay.
And again, we're pretty steady on sales here. A little bit up. All right. Interest rate, 6.5. They're coming down a little bit.
A little bit.
And we don't know where they're going to go, but everybody says basically between 6 or 6.6 by Q4 26. Rent, 2180 is down 7%, 2.76, $2.76 per square foot. And this shows by, now keep in mind too, this is all of Chicago, and it incorporates those apartment buildings, not just condos. The near north side, 2972 is the highest, followed by the near west side and median sales price. So that's it. That's what you got.
I hear, the word on the street though,
Ooh,
is rents are
poofies.
so high. So, when they say it's down, it's not what people are feeling.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's down from these high highs.
High. Yeah.
So, I mean,
And remember,
we are,
Mm.
no, I was just going to say, remember I used to put on how we compare to other metropolitan areas. And we're like number 11 in terms of rent costs. We're not the highest, but we climbed last year to number 11 from like number 17. So we're probably coming back down a little bit.
But here's also a thing. These rents aren't today's rents, and September and October are the big turnover months. So it will be really interesting to see in October and November what that rent number is, because that'll be reflecting the big turnover months, and see whether that means that rents have actually gone down, or whether that, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, so one of the things that Ann and I talk about constantly is supply, and there's just not enough homes in Chicago, and we're not building enough homes. So it's kind of with good news that we're bringing you what's coming soon. And it's now called, or this piece is called Foundry Park. Foundry Park And isn't that a pretty rendering? This is the
It
rendering
is.
that the developers have done. And this is what it looks like today. People, I thought this is a great picture. This is the Lincoln Yards, former Lincoln Yards development. And you guys who follow what's happening in Chicago will recognize that this big colored portion, both the red and the orange, I read that as orange. Do you read that as green or brown or whatever, this portion down here? Can anyone see my little cursor going?
Amberish. No, I can't see your cursor, but
Okay, my cursor is all over around the north branch of the Chicago River words. So that the total colored portion is the former Lincoln Yards development, the planned Lincoln Yards, and you can just see that that's a ginormous, to use technical language, people, property to have to develop all at once. And it would have been probably the biggest project we've ever had. I mean, when you think about the Sandburg Village and how big that was back in the late 60s and early
right.
60s, that was nothing. I mean, tiny compared to this plant thing. And Lincoln Yards has failed. So the northern section, the red section, has been sold off to a development consortium that includes JDL Development. And JDL did a presentation last week, and I'm sharing with you information that they provided to Block Club. So these pictures, et cetera, are Block Club. So what's different? It's significantly scaled down from Lincoln Yards. And the red is all going to be called Foundry Park. It's significantly scaled down. It is much more focused on housing than it is on commercial space. Lincoln Yards had an idea of creating sort of like a whole nother city within a city. It was going to have a lot of office space, a lot of commercial space, and a lot of housing. This is much more focused on housing, which is great in a lot of ways, but there are still questions that I don't have the answers to yet. So when going back, this is the section that is the red section. So going back here, you'll see this is what it looks like as planned, the Foundry Park development. And so, so they say there are going to be more than a dozen high and mid-rise residential and commercial buildings, mostly residential, about 50 townhomes and single-family homes, and you'll see those. You can't see. I've got slides that point it out. A hotel and an extension of the Bloomingdale Trail, not the 606, but the Bloomingdale Trail, which is further north. And they're thinking that it'll be a max of 2,800 housing units. So that's sort of interesting. Okay, so phase one is going to be, once they get all the necessary approvals, and they think it'll start next year, this time, so September 2026. That would be very exciting to get something started here. Phase one is north of Cortland. So Cortland is that street that bisected the old Finkel Foundry. And north of Cortland, east, and on the east of Southport Avenue. So this whole section here is phase one. So that's Kingsbury to the east. And I wasn't really aware that Kingsbury went through there, but now that I think about it, of course it is. It's really much more of a industrial road right now.
Right.
So they'll have to build up Kingsbury. And then with Southport, which I didn't even realize went through there. And then there's something called Dominic Street that's going to be really important to this. So that's step one. So this is what they say. 4 buildings between Southport, Kingsbury, and Cortland, with the tallest being 38 stories and having a mix of office, residential, and retail space. And then also notice there's this central square. Do you see the central square in the triangle, in the center of the triangle?
You're talking about the grassy looking area?
The grassy looking area, and the word central square sort of a park.
Yeah, I do.
So that's going to be open to the public. It's 2 acres in size, which is quite sizable. And it's going to have an 800 car parking garage underneath.
To support the retail there.
To support the retail, but their plans for this square include farmers markets in the summer, art fairs, and in the winter, ice skating. Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
I
that
think
is.
it's good for the community. Okay, so that's.
Well, you know what, too, just speaking of this, you know how that area on Clybourn, where
New City?
in the city, but I'm talking about where the Regal Theaters used to be in the Barnes and Noble, which is now a medical center. That really went into decline.
Webster Place.
Webster Place, thank you. This whole thing is going to really enliven
Yes.
that whole area. It's going to be so great for the community.
Agreed.
I'm excited.
Bring focus to that area again.
Yeah.
So this is what's planned for this is what Southport looks currently like. And this is what this is Kingsbury. You can't see it. You see the triangle from Southport to this sort of road that is like the hypotenuse of the triangle, the one that has little rail lines.
Look at you pulling out those words. I see Cortland to Southport, and then I see Dominic Street hooking into it.
You see Dominic, but to the east of it, the one on the angle that runs parallel to Clybourn, but is further west of Clybourn, that's Kingsbury.
Oh, that's Kingsbury. Okay, yeah.
And you see that it's got all these rail lines still attached to it because it was part of the foundry. They were bringing supplies from the river to it. And so that's now, that's going to be enhanced. Those streets, Southport, Dominic, and Kingsbury are going to have to be enhanced by this. And they're going to use TIF, tax increment financing, for that kind of thing.
Well, you know, like I know that right now traffic in this area is already tight. And people are already using Kingsbury and Marcy Street well, not Kingsbury, but Marcy, to kind of cut through on Clybourn to get to Cortland and then over to the other side of the river. And with the addition of all this housing, they have got to beef up the streets.
Yes. And I'm also thinking, one of the things that was hanging up Lincoln Yards were all the costs of all of the east-west access they were going to have to add to be able to address the influx of people moving into this area, or
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're not doing additional east-west roads. And while Cortland is a nice street, they call it Cortland Ave. I can't tell if it's Cortland Street or Cortland Ave. Anyway, they're going to have to beef up Cortland too, because Cortland, it's
no question.
So
yeah,
I just wanted you to see from a map what it looked like currently. So then the single family homes and townhouses are tucked to the west and a little bit north. And you'll see that the townhouses, they've got a plan for 28 townhouses. And they call it an alley. I guess that's going to be an alley behind it. And Dominic Street is the main entrance to it. And then there are going to be plots of single family homes. So I wonder if they're going to build them or allow others to build on those lots.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And it looks like there's some kind of riverwalk or something, or is that a street next to the river?
Oh, they're going to put riverwalks throughout.
That's going to be great.
The development, riverwalks, and you'll see a little bit more of that. But you see that right up against the North Branch.
Yeah.
So this is the least dense section. They've got a kids park. If you think about it, there are 19 single family home lots, 28 townhouses. That's not very dense.
No.
So this will be the least dense part of the development. But still, people will want to use Dominic. So it'll be interesting to see what they do to make Dominic enough of a street without making it like a thoroughfare.
Right, right.
Okay, so then you see you'll remember there was a little portion that stuck out on the west side of the river, and they're planning more offices and high rises, and then a big fitness center. And again, Riverwalk on both sides that they cover. They call it the 606 Bridge, but it's the Bloomingdale Trail. So people, is the 606 and the Bloomingdale the same? I don't know.
I thought they were, but I was letting you go with it.
Maybe not. All right. They call it the six, but they also refer to it as the Bloomingdale Trail. Anyway,
Right.
so this is the plan for the Bloomingdale Trail. And there's a section, okay. The city is currently working to extend the trail. So the city, not the development, is currently working to extend the trail from its eastern terminus over Ashland. So it ends at Ashland. And they're extending it over Ashland and under the Kennedy Expressway to Elston. So that's the goal. And the project will wrap up in late 2027.
But see, that's south.
No. Here's more. If that extension is completed, JDL, the developer, will construct a further extension over the river and into the southern section of Foundry Park, allowing bikers and pedestrians to travel from Bucktown into Lincoln Park without having to ride on the street. How nice is that?
That would be very cool.
There's no cars that are going to come on that bridge. It is purely pedestrian and bicycles.
Nice. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And notice the that there's this park at the point, and it's all this greenland. That's going to be really important for us as a city to have that. And then I thought this was sort of interesting. Does that look sort of like a beach? It looks like they're creating
it does
going to the river. So we'll see. It would be, the Chicago River, especially the North Branch, is getting so wonderful and becoming a real asset as it gets further and further away from all the industrial uses that it used to have. And it's going to be such an asset for years to come. It's very exciting.
Love it.
So this is the renderings by the developer of what it's going to look and feel like. So the idea was to create on Southport, the portion that they're rebuilding of Southport, kind of like it is up by, Wrigley, the Southport Avenue, what we think of as the Southport neighborhood, up further north around Addison and north of that. And it's going to look really kind of urban and great, and it'll be great.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited this is moving forward.
Yeah. So one of the questions I have are, those high rises, are they going to be rentals? JDL has been developing the former Moody Bible campus, and those are rentals. It's going to be interesting to see. Is that good for the city that we're adding rentals rather than than condos that owned property? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And listen, Sandburg was rentals for a long time and became condos in was it the late 80s that they became condos? Or mid 80s? Anyway. So things can develop and change over time, but it'll be interesting to see what all those units are going to be.
Yeah, it really will. Thanks for bringing that. Should we jump into the conversation about these single family homes? We've got just a couple minutes, but okay. So we were mentioning in statistics about how few single family homes there are. Kyle and I were discussing the fact that come September, oftentimes we'll put properties on for the what do you call it? For the fall season. Thank you. All right. So this is everything in the Lakefront communities that's gone on the market since September 1. But again, Kyle always reminds us that agents are canceling and relisting properties. So if you look at this chart, that number 2, which is 4332 Kenmar. It's been on the market 576 days, 7 of which just in September 1st. So when it comes out as a new listing and we report new listings, this would show up as a new listing. However, obviously it's not new. So that's why we always show you active listings. We don't show you new listings because it's very much a skewed statistic. So there are very few as we scan through this list, the first one, Winona being one of them, where the market days and the listing market days are the same. This one went on September 1st. You come down here to Levitt, 51 days on the market, but it was relisted on the 7th. And we talk about it being a seller's market, but Kyle always reminds us that doesn't mean you can put any number on your home and have it sell. Kyle, is there anyone you want me to pull up and look at here?
Well, let's pull up one that's in, let's look at the one at Ohio. Just because it's 145 days, so not incredibly long, but longer than it wants to be on the market.
Okay, good. So here it is. You can see it?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So interestingly, they don't show that it has reduced a price.
We can find out because we can find all sorts.
Yeah. Listing and property history. Yeah, you can't see it. I could add it, but I don't want to screw us up. It's been the same price all the way through.
So
1350.
It's just canceled and relisted.
Exactly right. So 24 by 100, built in 2013. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath.
It's a small lot, people. 100 feet is 125 is the standard lot depth.
18. I mean, it's a pretty house.
It's a pretty house. It was built in 2013. It's a contemporary home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well.
So I wonder why it is taking so long to sell.
Price.
Well,
Price.
it's 1.3, so it's lower than
the median, right?
Median, and that part of Ohio Street is not disliked. Isn't that Noble or Smith Park?
Well, at Ohio, see, you're just south of Chicago Avenue. So
no, you're further. You're about 4 or 5 blocks south. You're well south of Chicago.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's go back and pick another one quick since we're on a roll here. 1928 Bissell. That's only on the market 44 days.
Let's see what's going on. Why they canceled and relisted. That was built. They don't know the year it was built. Okay.
Okay, so it was. Let me try to share this. Okay, can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay. So 825,023 closed at 825. Okay. So quick at sales price in 15 days. On the left, you can see listing market time 15 days. Then they put it on as active in July. And remember that does, but the public may not, that when you put it on private, market time doesn't begin. And then they put it on, they canceled it on September 2nd and relisted. That's what they did at the same price.
So I'll be interested, and your agent, if you're looking at this house, will look for what changes they made to make it worth 300,000 more.
Right. Are you seeing the listing sheet now of Bissell?
I'm not. I see us, which is
okay. So, all right. Well, we don't have to go on. The point is, less than half of the ones that are showing as new are truly new.
Yeah, which tells us a couple of things. Not a lot is flooded on the market. Usually things this week or last week flood. They flood on. It's sort of like the week after the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, the market becomes flush with truly new things. And Anne has shown us that we do not have that.
Right. It's not truly well, and that's why we have a month inventory or 2 months or 3 months inventory in various neighborhoods. It's these homes that are sitting there who haven't sold
Yes,
because the sellers are hoping that somebody's going to say, "All right, I give in. I'll pay over because I need a home." They're not doing that.
I think also, and I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. Um, Sellers are saying, I don't have to fix things. Let the next guy do it. And the next person doesn't want to have to, unless they're going to redo everything, they don't want to have to engage the contractor, the handyman. They know how hard it is to get people to come out and do work.
Right.
And so for you to say the house is in pretty good condition, but you can fix the X, Y, and Z, they'll go to the house that's in good condition. So sellers, you really have to, even though it's such a seller's market in many ways, you still have to do the things that are expected of sellers um,
Right.
to be successful in this market. So it's not
No
just
question about it.
it's not just we're never going to be Florida. We're never going to be.
And we don't want to be.
We don't want to be Texas, but those places you could just put it on the market and it would sell during the a year or 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
And we're not seeing that now, but they did then, and we're never going to be them.
No.
So thank you as
Okay.
always, Anne.
Good stuff. Thanks for sharing the Foundry. Excited to keep up with what's going on with that. Thanks everybody for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann.
Yes, thank you. Bye.